Oh, good morning, ladies. I'm coming to you live via camera because I'm still having issues with my laptop. So hopefully this will come out pretty good. But I haven't had time to make a video in a while. So I'm going to make this one, and it's going to be kind of quick because I want to start my mission of creating a Black History class for youth at the libraries. And at the end of the session, I'm going to give away these Black African American coloring books, which are really, really nice. So I'm going to see how that works. I will keep you informed, my friends. Okay, we're going to start with Iyanla Vanzant, Faith in the Valley. Why does people, said that wrong. Why does everybody do me wrong? Many of us approach life with a perspective of deficient. We try to move forward on the premise of what we cannot do, honestly believing we can build upon this kind of foundation. As hard as we try, there's always something we cannot do because we believe that we do not have what we need to build. We think the problem is the condition in which we live, the situations in which we find ourselves, or the people involved in the situation and circumstances. We haven't got a clue that our language defines our problem and recreates our reality. Take some time to listen to what you say over the course of the next few days. When you hear yourself say, I'm struggling to get by, it's so hard out here, I'm just trying to make it, remind yourself that words become conditions. Situations may be dark or dismal, but you can always speak about the good you can find in them. Conditions in your life may be challenging and difficult, but you have the ability to speak encouraging words to yourself. People may treat you unfairly, unjustly, or in the most unloving ways, but you reserve the right to counteract people with words. You're doing just fine. Hey, you keep getting better day by day. This is not as bad as it seems. You can do this. I know you can. These are just a few of the profitable things you can tell yourself to move beyond the confines of any deficient. Now, and when I read that, I was like, we really need to learn this at a really young age, because we can be consumed with so much negativity and be walloped in deficient because so much has gone wrong. You have lost so much. You have become so sick of the same old agitation. You just become wore out. You know, it's like that rust that gets on your car. If you don't do something about it, it's just going to get worse and worse. And as time goes on, you know, it's something you can't do. You can't do nothing about it, but you can work on it. Just like we have to work on ourselves. We have to, you know, just like you get them emails. Well, it's time for you to get to get your car serviced. You have to get the radiator flushed. You have to get the tires rotated. Well, we have to do the same thing with us. Okay, you have to make a list of, okay, today is I need to get my nails done. Or in every week you take you a whirlpool bath, you get you a massage. You know, it's just some things that we have to do to maintain our body, mind, and soul to keep it running smoothly. Okay? Now, we're going to read Atlanta Gazette, Acts of Faith. And today is May the 14th. The ego needs recognition. The spirit does not need to thank itself. And that's by Stuart Wilde. The ego wants to be noticed. It needs stroking, pumping up, and limelight. The ego needs to compete just to prove it is better. It senses danger around every corner, difficulty in every challenge, and trouble coming through everyone. The ego can never be enough, do enough, or have enough. The goal of the ego is to do well, liked, and authorized because, for some reason, it does not feel qualified. Now, we don't look at the ego that way, do we? We're getting it in perspective. The spirit is qualified by light, the light of truth, peace, joy, and love. It does not seek to condemn, condone, or compromise what it is. It simply knows and is it. The spirit not asks for an award or wait for rewards. It is just spirit being spirit. One of the difficult problems in the world is the competition of egos. They want to be noticed and applauded so they can compete and dominate. When we truly understand that we are spiritual beings, we will no longer have a need for recognition. We will do what we can because we can do it by virtue of the light of spirit. And I am so glad to read that, you friends, because if we were to just realize that we're only spiritual beings, because even though that loved one that you care so much about, what they did and say will live on. You will remember that more than you will remember what that person looked like, what they walked like, but you're going to remember the things that they said and did. And we need to act upon that. We need to realize that in all our doings. And I know it's difficult, and I know it's going to be an ongoing thing. But you know what always people remember, and we do too, is the ending of anything, not the beginning. So we may have started out being in a position that we didn't like, or said some things that we didn't like, but we can, and hopefully before it's too late, change that by acting accordingly. Getting that ego out the way. Because you know what? That's what's out here. These egos all around here fighting. These alter egos. And like it says, you know, we don't live enough with truth and peace and joy and love in our life. It seems like people are scared of those things because it seems like you're scared that you're going to be taken advantage of when you try to live peacefully and joyfully and love. As we learn, we cannot help what other people do. We can only help what we do and what we say. Now, with that, I want to talk about a lovely lady. Sojourner Truth. A life is simple. And I'm going to read something on the web when she talking about Ain't I a Woman. Now, in 1851, Truth left Northampton to join George Thompson, an abolitionist and speaker. In May, she attended the Ohio Women's Rights Convention in Akron, Ohio, where she delivered her famous speech on women's rights. later known as Ain't I a Woman? The convention was organized by Hannah Tracy and Frances Dana Barker Gage, who both were presented when Truth spoke. Different versions of Truth's words have been recorded, with the first one published a month later. So, we know that we a woman. We know that. And we know that we have to be very mindful of what's going on around us. It is, because a lot of reasons is because we really shape the world, because we birth the men. We are their first teachers and confidence. We show them love. We give them love. We shape their reality, and we shape their little minds, and that is something that don't go away. And we have a tendency to make our men into men who kind of are in charge. And the way that we have raised them has a lot to do with the way they conduct themselves in society. And when you have men like that weren't raised right by women, they make very bad decisions. They look at the world in a way that causes a lot of anguish. They run in the governments. They run in our cities, our states. There are stores, our community, our schools. So we are the main defense in bringing about world changes. Because when you see men doing something, it's generally because of how they was raised by their mothers. And a lot of times, you see why, when you see men acting the way they do, being prejudiced and racist and mean and evil, it's a lot of times because of the way their mothers raised them. The way their mother reacted when they were carrying them. We don't realize that, but you have a more connection to your children than you realize while they are inside of you. Because that's just like, they've already recorded how the babies react to mothers when they're listening to music or around certain noises and stuff. And if you are a very prejudiced person and you see somebody that you hate because of their skin color, you're going to have a reaction, and that child's going to have a reaction. So they would be more susceptible of carrying on that racial hatred. So Sojourner Truth, she was really on to something when she was talking about Ain't I a Woman. She was going on how she did all this stuff like a man, but she still deserved to be treated like a woman. And also, this book is very, 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 very wonderfully presented, because it talks about that slave mentality that a lot of us are still carrying to this day. So that's a little bit what I wanted to talk about today, and I want to thank you for listening. I appreciate your time, and I just want to say keep on being true. And also, as I wish she was my mother, but she's my mother in spirit. And I have taken on her name also, Miss Pearson Truth. All right. Well, thank you and have a wonderful day.
I want to spend my life with you.
I want to spend my